Business in the Okanagan matters. This is Law Talk with lawyers Clay Williams and Tanvir Gill from FH&P Lawyers LLP. They talk business and take your questions at podcast@fhplawyers.com. Now, here's Clay Williams.
Welcome to another edition of Law Talk. My name is Clay Williams, and I'm a partner at FH&P. And with me, as per usual, is Ms. Tanvir Gill. Happy New Year, Tanvir.
Happy New Year, Clay. It's been a good holiday.
And I understand that you're going to give us a big announcement.
Yep, so a big change for FH&P. We are moving to the Landmark District. So we're going to be moving over there in phases. Some people may notice our FH&P sign come down from our very long-standing red brick building. We're sad to leave it behind, but we have just outgrown this space. We've had a lot of amazing new lawyers join our team. We have an amazing group of staff that work with us, and we just don't fit in this building anymore. So we are moving over to Landmark 4, which is the building right along the highway.
Yeah, exciting move. A lot of work. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of work, and as you say, we've been doing it in phases. So it's been a little disruptive, but hey, we're getting there.
We've left Clay behind. He's still at the Lawrence office.
My fob didn't work anymore. I wondered what was going on.
One thing to keep in mind is we are still going to be keeping our Bernard office, but we won't really have clients coming in and out. So if you need a lawyer, if you need help, just email us, call us, and we'll direct you to the space that we're in. And ideally, we're going to be in Landmark by the end of January, fully moved over.
All right, and so January is Business Law Month for FH&P, and the situation I want to talk about is a person who just wants to go out and start doing business. And if they want to use a trade name, there's nothing preventing you from doing that. And so a person can go and start and call themselves whatever they want. There is a registry in BC where you can register that name under the partnership or sole proprietor registry, and there's some advantages to doing that. I mean, it doesn't give you any protection for the name, for instance, but if you're a company, for instance, it's really important that you register there, because then people know that they're doing business with the company. But as an individual, it is there.
Yeah, so this would give you a DBA.
Doing business as. So the process for that is, you're going to talk about the corporate stuff, but pretty similar. You go and you try to reserve the name, and if you get the name, then you can register it in the registry. And really, there isn't any scrutiny.
Not with a DBA.
On the DBA.
No.
So the most important part about a doing business as in registering that name in the sole proprietorship registry is, I think, if you're a company, because then you get your corporate protection. If you see, if my trade name, for instance, is Clay's Radiator Repair, and that name is registered to 1234 BC Ltd, then I still get my corporate protection. There's no confusion that you're doing business with me directly. Okay, so that's why I think it's really important you still register those names. Now, tell us about the corporate registry.
Sure. So when you have somebody looking to incorporate a business, or you're starting a new business and you want a name, our process is to take 3 options from you for your first choice, second choice, third choice of name, and we register that with the corporate registry. What that does is takes a look at all of the names in BC to see if there's anything similar. If you are going to be too similar to something that's already out there, you won't get that name. And so it won't be approved. We get, we let you know, you get a different name option. You can change it around a little bit to make some edits to make it different than what's already out there and registered. And once you get something that's different enough than what's already out there, you can have that registered in BC.
Yeah, and there are a couple of rules that the registrar is going to apply. You need a distinctive element and a descriptive element.
Yeah, we actually had a podcast on this exact topic, talking about how they're going to be approving names and the way that they read from left to right. So listen to that podcast if you're really interested on how to get the name you want. But generally, yeah, there is a bit of a process of what they look for in order to approve you.
You know, I don't know about your experience, but I've had a lot of trouble lately getting names reserved. There are many corporations in British Columbia, and I just went through a process where my clients came up with a bunch of different names for a construction company, and they couldn't get the names reserved for any of them. They were all taken and considered by the registrar to be too close.
Too close, yeah. It is really hard. You have to be a little creative to get something different. And sometimes you have to consider adding things like, 2024 into the name just to differentiate it, or be specific about what it is, because they will take something like financial and lending or mortgage broker, and they'll put all those into the same sort of idea and say all of that means the same thing to us. So to us it might look very different, but to the registry you need to be pretty descriptive and distinctive to get that name.
Yeah, and I can tell you adding 2024
it didn't work for you.
No. So I think that's something that is harder and harder to do, just given that all these common names are taken. So of course, what we do in that situation when somebody really wants to call themselves something is incorporate a numbered company, and then they do business as the trade name that they want, and we register that name in the sole proprietorship register
as a DBA.
And that's really important because one of the advantages to a corporation, of course, is personal liability, and so you can defend on the basis that although it says Clay's Radiator Repair, that is there, so you know that you are doing business with a corporation and not Clay Williams individually.
Mm-hmm.
So in any event, I think it's really important that we talk, though, a little bit about what you're getting.
Yeah, so with a BC name, once it's registered, your name is going to be valid in British Columbia only. So it doesn't mean that this name is going to be held for you across Canada, or you could go into, Alberta and get the same name.
Yeah, and so when people come to us and they say, look, I want to do this, we ask them, what are you going to do with this company? And because if you're just going to be a little drywall company in BC, or even in Kelowna, that's very different than if you're going to be expanding into other jurisdictions.
Yeah, let's say you're going to be creating something like, workout shorts, and these shorts are going to be sold across Canada. You want to do pop-up shops, and you want to be in a big store one day. We wouldn't really recommend the BC route. If you know this is the end goal for your company and this is your business venture, we would talk about something like a trademark.
Yeah, you'd still better incorporate here, but we would recommend a trademark. A trademark is a much better protection for the actual name.
Yes.
And so
much different process. We generally will refer these types of clients to a trademark agent, and the process is very different compared to just getting a BC name here with the corporate registry. So with a trademark, you have to show what your business is, what this trademark is going to relate to. You have to have a description for what the trademark is. So, for example, if we have these shorts, you need a name, you have a logo that's going to be protected, and then you have a description of exactly what you're going to be selling. This is a process, like for the BC names through the corporate registry, we can take up to 4 weeks, 6 weeks. This could take up to 2 years. So it's quite a long process, and it is much more expensive, but the protection that you get with a trademark is very different.
Yeah, you actually get the name protection because you never know if somebody. So we would ask those questions and take a look and see who's doing business as what. Sometimes we'll take a look online and that and see if there's going to be some obvious overlap there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will. They'll say, well, I don't care. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah.
And you're taking some risks, because if somebody does have a registered trademark, then they can come in and ask you to change your name.
Oh yeah, we had one file collapse because of this exact issue. We had a business in Kelowna that was selling, so we had buyers that were going to buy this business, but when we just did a simple Google search on the name, it showed as quite a large company operating in the US with a very obvious trademark, registered trademark. So one of the biggest risks there is that they're gonna find out that this, little business in Kelowna is operating with the same name, and they very well could give you a cease and desist letter or ask you to change your name or take some other course of action.
Yeah, so often a good idea to do some searching to start. So one other point I wanted to make is, I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually register a domain name as your company name.
Yes, I did know that.
So, like abcmarketing.com Ltd.
Yeah, I did know that, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet, but you might do more of that.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind if you are going to be out there, to buying a business is talk to a lawyer about the name. We've had clients that see some type of business on sale and they say, I'm buying such and such business. And then when we look at that and we do our due diligence, often we find that this name does not exist. It might have never actually been a DBA. It might have never actually been a registered name. The seller is just a numbered company and they've just ordered a sign that has this name on it, but there is no actual registration done. So there's always a benefit to having some searches and due diligence done before you go too far into the process, especially if you're relying on this goodwill or this name and there's this business that you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to know what you're buying.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so until next time, we will leave you at that and keep checking back to our website and our social media for January FH&P Business Law Month.
FH&P lawyers are rooted in community and ready to help. Send your business law questions to podcast@fhplawyers.com.